I like to think that I'm quite a good communicator. Certainly in teaching, it's a bit of a prerequisite for the job. But my husband thinks he's an excellent communicator, and anyone who knows us will tell you that he certainly can tell a story. He is not a man of few words. One day we decided that we'd like to get our tree trimmed in the front of the garden. It's an enormous tree. It belongs to the neighbours, but a big half of it was hanging over our side and stopping our new plants growing. My mum has a neighbour who's Spanish, who's a gardener, and she suggested that he come round and take a look at it. Martin insisted that because he could speak Italian, that he was the one to go and communicate what we needed to the Spanish gardener. I watched out the window, seeing him waving his arms around frantically. It seemed to take forever to explain how to do this tree. And then we thought nothing of it. The Spanish gardener came back the next day while we were at work. When I got home, he had removed the branches over our side of the garden, but what he'd done is completely cut the tree in half. So if you looked at it from the neighbour's side, it looked like a tree. On our side, it just looked awful. Left me creeping around under cover of darkness to put an apology note in the garden. Martin thought he had communicated well, but it hadn't quite, something had got lost in translation. As George Bernard Shaw once said, the singer's biggest problem with communication is the illusion that it has taken place at all. Any of us who've ever worked with children or parented a child will know that what we think we said is often interpreted very differently, and we often come away feeling like we've been speaking in Chinese. Communication's been quite important lately, and we've been encouraged to take up with social media and to listen to daily briefings. And it's clear that what people think has been communicated isn't quite how everybody has interpreted it. As we've journeyed with my dad through dementia, we've discovered the frustrations of communication. As he's gone further and further into his world, this man who was very articulate, was extremely funny, who would write poetry and songs and was never short of a quick joke, can no longer communicate in quite the way that he wants to. He used to love nothing more than sitting around with his family, chatting away while Mum was cooking the dinner, and he would parry the questions from his 3 daughters about love, life, the birds and the bees, schoolwork. It was a delight in his day. We've learnt now that often the only way we can communicate is to sit and hold his hand and just to be together. But communication is really important, and what we do know is that when he was able to understand us, we did communicate well. We know that we said the important things, the I love yous, the thank yous, the appreciations for what he did for us as our dad growing up. And I'd like to encourage you that during this time, that when you do communicate, you make your communications of worth and value. It's easy just to go, hi, how are you? Yeah, fine. But let's make sure our words say the things that we really need to say. Let's encourage one another. Let's build one another up. Let's really share our hearts, our joys, our sorrows, our hopes and dreams. Let's communicate on a real level. Let's not ever get to that point where we look back and think, I wish I'd said this or I wish I'd said that. So have a great day today communicating.